You're listening to the Good Question Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Our goal is to make each of our guests exclaim, that's a good question. I don't know the answer. Because when that happens, it means you, the listener, may be inspired to learn more beyond the interview and to ask great questions yourself that lead to new insights. In this podcast, we cover historical and current anthropology, comparative religion, and history. Welcome, and let's get started.
Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with the Good Question Podcast. My guest today is John Jubilee. He's the founder of Energized Health. We're going to talk about cellular dehydration and his work. So welcome, John. Thanks for coming.
Well, Rich, I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. Let's start out with, tell me a little bit, how you got into any kind of biological health and why cellular dehydration type issues.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it started on the opposite side of non-health. So I was bone on bone in both my knees, and I had a Santa Claus belly going on, and I had hypertension and high blood pressure, and come on, how many of us Americans, as where 80% of us are, right? I was more than 30 pounds of fat overweight, which is about 80% of Americans now.
Really?
But I just had a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, 80% we're getting up there, and but I had all that going on, but the worst part for me, Rich, was bone on bone. Anybody that, has a hip or knee pain, every step of your life is just a step of pain. You just live in constant agony. It's like those big old knitting needles our grandmas used to use. It's like being stabbed with one every step you take. And
yeah, how do you think? How do you not snap at everybody? How do you sleep?
No, you're just miserable. You're miserable. And so yeah, no matter how old you are, if you got that going on, you look like a grumpy old man, no matter where you're at. And so I was just miserable, and I tried everything, Rich, for about 10 years. I tried Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig and no carb and low carb, keto and no sugar. And, I tried all the diets, and, I learned something about diets though, Rich. They all start with the same first three letters.
Die.
That's a horrible word, right?
Yeah.
So I hate them all.
YouTube won't allow it anymore. It's ridiculous.
Well,
they had to say on the live, there's things like that.
Yeah, but man, I'm telling you what, it was just a miserable 10 years of my life. But in my frustration, Rich, I just went and thought, how hard can this be? It's like changing your oil in your car. Anyone can learn how to do it. And I thought, we're all human bodies here. There has to be a way to get healthy, that's not rocket science, or, they wanted me to get surgery, replace both my knees. And so I was like, okay, got to be something. So I went and did all this research and, these medical peer-reviewed studies. But the bottom line was really two amazingly simple things. Number one is we're just a giant bag of water and cells. That's the whole human body. Your bones are made out of cells, your brain, your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, everything is just cells and water. And we're supposed to be mostly water, by the way. So interestingly, though, Rich, I'm going to ask you a question. And when I'm asking you, I'm asking every listener in our audience, Rich, what is your hydration level?
I don't know. I don't drink nearly as much as my wife does.
Yeah,
she's always telling me to drink more water. She's good. She drinks a gallon a day. Yeah. I have coffee, tea, and water, but I'll have I don't know, maybe 20 ounces a day or something, throughout the day.
Well, and that's how much you drink, but how hydrated are you, Rich?
I don't know.
No, you don't know. And neither does your wife. Your wife doesn't know. Nobody knows because even our doctors don't measure it. And it's the number one health metric in the world is how hydrated are we. It's more important than our blood pressure. It's more important than our A1C. It's more important than our cholesterol numbers. The number one health metric to tell us how healthy we are is how hydrated we are. And so I'm trying to find a device, Rich, to measure it. And now this was a long time ago, but I had to spend $11,000 to buy a device to measure my hydration. And when I did, I found out I was low. It's kind of like your oil. You check the oil on the car, right? You're quart low, 2 quarts low. Well, Rich, take a guess how low I was on hydration. Pounds. I
don't know. Would it just dust come out or what happened?
20 pounds low. 20 pounds. That's almost 3 gallons low of what I should have been of intracellular Intercellular Hydration. And so that's the bad news. But the good news is, at least I knew this is my root cause. This is my root cause. It's the root cause of my hypertension. It's the root cause of why all my cartilage has gone out of my knees. It's the root cause of why my metabolism doesn't work anymore and I can't lose fat and I can't keep it off.
How did you know that?
Well, because in all my other research I was doing, I learned because we are just a giant bag of water and cells, if our cells are healthy, everything is healthy. And the way you make a cell healthy, you hydrate it. But you got to fill it up like a water balloon. So when your wife is drinking a gallon of water, that's just like going over the top of a balloon and it ends up all in the toilet. So I realized, wait a minute, it's not drinking the water. It's you have to get that water inside of the cell. The scientific term is intra. Just think of inner, right? Opening the door. We have to open the doors to the cell to get that hydration inside. That's how we get healthy. If we have hydrated cells where that hydration's on the inside, every cell is optimized. If our cell is optimized, every organ is optimized, including our heart, our brain, our lungs, our kidney, our metabolism, which is, our thyroid and our hypothalamus, our digestive system, our intestines. All those things are tied together. And the root cause that takes away that optimization is the dehydration.
Okay. So what did you do? I mean, was it enough to just drink water or electrolytes or like what, how did you start fixing yourself?
No, absolutely not. So come on, we've all tried that, right? Everyone knows now, drink more water. People are drinking a gallon a day. I've met people drinking 2 gallons a day. And when I measured them, they're just like me, Rich. They're 20 pounds low and they're drinking 2 gallons a day. So
wow.
That's how I learned that, oh, wait a minute. You don't get hydrated by drinking water. You have to do a protocol. And this is what we teach at Energized Health. We teach people a 12-step protocol. It's a scientific protocol of how to transform the cell where it becomes porous like a sponge. Now, I didn't know this. I learned this over the last 29 years, but all of our cells through oxidation and stress and cortisol, they basically become as hard as a glass marble. So imagine,
wow.
If you pour a gallon of water on a glass marble, how much of it's going to get in there? None of it, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's not going to get in there because it's just bouncing off. But if we transform the cell where it becomes porous like a sponge, then we can uptake, that intracellular hydration, and by the way, this is a 12-step cellular health protocol. Anyone can do it. Nobody has to go to a gym or eat any crazy diets or deprive themselves. I have a funny saying that, that God gave us taste buds because food tastes good, right? So God doesn't want people depriving themselves of food that tastes good, and nor is that sustainable. You have to eat things that you enjoy, or eventually you're always going to, jump off that wagon. You won't fall off the wagon. You'll jump off the wagon because, we're supposed to enjoy food, or if we were just made to live, to eat, to live, we wouldn't have taste buds. We could be like cows. We could just eat grass. But that's how we are. We want to have a cheeseburger. We want pizza. We want to eat bread. And again, I got all these little fun sayings, Rich. And one of mine is Jesus hates that keto diet, and I can prove it in the Bible because Jesus said this: "Give us this day
our daily bread." Yeah.
Our daily bread. So I know he would never
He
be
doesn't say, give us this day our daily beta hydroxybutyrate.
Right? It's like, no, it's like, hey man, give us this day our daily bread. Bread is a good thing. You can absolutely, have your bread. And of course I recommend, but eat wheat bread or eat sourdough bread. Those are, don't eat white bread.
So what is the key to make water accessible to your cells then? Is it the microbiome, or what, how do you change your cells so that the water you take in will affect them positively?
So what the key is, again, it's to do a 12-step protocol, and I'll share a few of the steps as we're talking here today with people, because again, I do want people to know, no matter what is, don't fall for the stuff on the internet, that says deprive yourself or just try to drink, 10 glasses of water a day, or, I've been helping people, Rich, for 29 years. And it's amazing to me of how many people that I've measured their hydration who are drinking 1 1 or 2 gallons. One person was even drinking 3 gallons a day, which I can't imagine. And they were still completely dehydrated. So it's not the water. It's not the water. It's the cell. The cell has to go through, a cellular transformation, And again, I just to lock this science in for people though, I would just challenge people, think about how many friends or their own personal experience, and in fact, Rich, I don't know if it's okay to ask you, how many diet or exercise programs have you tried, or supplements, or like I tried more than 10.
Well, I take a lot of supplements. I've tried like a few different diets. I had, cancer a number of years ago, thyroid cancer. So I went on the keto diet for about a year, and that worked well. And then, I kind of slipped and, went off of it and everything. But for a while, it was going pretty good.
Yeah. So see, Rich, this is good. And because your listeners trust you, this will help all of them. So look, did you really slip, or did you just decide you wanted to eat some real food?
Well, it's hard to have that willpower. When I had the cancer, it was kind of easy because it's like a gun to the head. If you don't eat right, then you feel like you're going to die. So it makes it a lot easier to do that because, again, it's a pretty strong reason to stick to the diets. That made it a lot easier. Without that, it's a lot harder. Much, 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 much harder. Because every day, 3-4 times a day, you got to make this decision. Like, should I eat that or should I not? So it's, it's hard you get decision fatigue having every day to make the right choice.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and the reality is your body is telling you, no, it wants carbohydrates because it needs them. So even on the keto diet, people don't understand. Listen, the body needs carbohydrate. It needs carbohydrates. Carbohydrates break down into glucose, which is the number one nutrient to every cell in your body. We all have 37 trillion cells in our body, and every cell's favorite food is glucose. It's what cells eat is glucose. So here's what happens when people go on a keto diet. When they go on a keto diet, the body basically goes into panic. Like all the red lights are going on. It's in emergency mode. The body's in emergency mode, which is why people lose weight. The body's in an emergency setting because there's no glucose coming into the system. But guess what? The body will still turn protein into glucose, but it's very hard on the body. It's very hard on the body. It's not something that body's really supposed to do. It's not supposed to have to break protein down into glucose, but if you make it do it, it will do it, but it's very detrimental. That's why some people that were on a keto diet for extended periods of time, they destroy their digestive system, they destroy their stomach biome. They can have all kinds of stomach issues because they just put their body in an emergency setting for an extended period of time, which is not healthy. Yeah, it's really hard to find someone that's been on that keto diet for a while and is healthy. It's really hard. It's really hard to do. So it's not that you can't do it. So I tell everybody, you know what diet works, Rich? They all work for a minute. Every diet works for a minute, right? You go on the cabbage soup diet, you'll lose weight. You go keto, you'll lose weight. You restrict yourself, you'll lose weight. But it doesn't mean it's sustainable, and nor does it mean it's healthy for you. So the beautiful thing about optimizing yourself at the cellular level with intercellular hydration is you're basically putting a river of living water into your body. You're optimizing all your organs, kind of like back when you were 7 years old, when you're 7, you get up, you go play, you eat whatever you want. Your metabolism is super healthy. You're naturally hydrated, no matter how much water you drink at 7, you're still hydrated. And so you're optimized. Well, this is what can happen to us at any age. So I personally did this in 1997, so people are just hearing my voice right now, but, I won't tell them how old I am. They can go look on my website and look, and then they can take a guess. But I'm telling you what, I've not had one day of sickness. I eat every food in moderation. I have 8 kids, and I got twin 11-year-old boys. They love In-N-Out Burger, So you know what? I eat double cheeseburgers and French fries, and I eat at Chick-fil-A, and I eat real food. I live like a real person that eats real food. I'm lean and healthy, and I don't get sick. And this is what all of us can have. And Rich, would you say that's sustainable? If everybody could go have a double cheeseburger, go enjoy their Chick-fil-A, have pizza, and I only eat pizza like once a week, but I do eat double sausage, double pepperoni pizza. But would you say that would be sustainable, Rich? Do you think that's a diet? I'm saying that quotation marks, because I don't believe in diets. I believe in moderation, so I don't eat the whole
That'd be
pizza.
a heck of a lot easier than, the restrictive eating that most people say you have to do.
Yeah. And the other thing, I think would be really helpful for people, because there's 40 million, at least 40 million of your listeners, and it'll be 70 million within the next 12 months. 70 million Americans will be on or will have tried the peptides and the GLP-1.
What's your thought and experience with those?
Yeah, well, here's the good news for everybody. Everybody already has GLP-1. GLP-1 is already in your human body. Everybody already has GLP-1. Everybody's already on it, whether they are or they aren't. GLP-1 is natural to the body. It's just the ones they're selling now, they're synthetic. They're not real, but everyone already has it. Everyone already has every one of these peptides they're selling. If you optimize yourself at the cellular level with your intercellular hydration, you naturally have every peptide you need, and you have every GLP-1 that you need. But here's what I'll quickly say, though, for the 40 to 70 million people that are on them, you better get your intercellular hydration. You should do this side by side with it, because every one of those, Rich, the number 1 and number 2 warning, and they all give the warning. Every doctor that prescribes it tells people, we're going to guarantee you 2 things that are going to happen on this peptide or GLP-1. Guess what the 2 things are?
You're not going to be hungry and you're going to lose weight?
No, that would be good if that was the 2 things. No, the 2 things they can guarantee is you are going to lose hydration and you're going to lose muscle. That's what they guarantee you. They say you are absolutely going to lose your hydration, guaranteed from every medical study done by the FDA, and you're going to lose your muscle. So if you're going to lose your water and your muscle on your GLP-1, well, guess what? On our cellular health protocol, you gain hydration and you gain muscle. It's the perfect match made in heaven. It's a perfect match made in heaven. If you're going to take a GLP-1 or a peptide, you need to be doing this, because this will gain your hydration and this will gain your muscle, which they're guaranteeing you will lose that on your GLP or on your peptide. So I tell people, hey, you want to take those, take them, but do this alongside it, because if you lose muscle, Rich, do you know that 1 inch of muscle, this is the power of your metabolism. If you lose 1 inch of muscle, you could gain 50 pounds of fat eating the same amount of calories. So if you eat 2,000 calories a day and you don't gain any weight, and the only thing that changes is you lose 1 inch of muscle, the next year, if you eat 2,000 calories a day, you're going to gain up to 50 pounds of fat, because that's how much it destroys your metabolism, losing your muscle.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. So you don't want to lose your muscle no matter what, because if you lose your muscle, you are guaranteed eventually you are going to be way more overweight than you ever dreamed of, because muscle spikes our metabolism. And the good news is the more muscle we have, the more we can eat and never gain 1 pound. So if we actually gain muscle, like our average client gains 2 inches, 10 pounds of solid muscle, men and women, by the way. So they gain their healthy, lean muscle mass, and I'm talking clients in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, gaining 10 pounds of solid muscle. No, you can't get overweight if you want to when you have lean mass, and you'll always have healthy bone density when you have lean muscle mass. You can't lose bone when you have muscle. The only people that lose...
I've heard, like, when you're older, sarcopenia is a huge problem.
Sarcopenia, and guess what comes right behind it? Osteoporosis. So you always have anytime you have sarcopenia, you absolutely 100% guaranteed you will have osteoporosis, and you're going to lose your bone density, and you're going to be one of those people that's going to fall and break your hip.
All right. Well, how do you unlock your cell's ability to be hydrated, to accept this hydration?
Yeah. Well, let me just share the first 3 steps with people. And again, there's 12 steps in a very scientific, sequence, in an interval, of how this has to be done. But listen, the first 3 things that everyone could start doing today, guys. I mean, you could start this today is, of course, you still have to drink your water. Now, remember, I'm not guaranteeing you any of that water is going to get into your cell. It's not going to get in there without doing all 12 things. But look, it is the start. Like there's no way you can get water in yourself if you're not drinking water. So definitely start drinking your water and just try to up it from wherever you are. So like Rich, you said you drink about 20 ounces. So someone like you, I tell you, hey, just try to increase that, maybe 10 ounces a week. So this week, 20, next week, 30. But you want to build your way up to where, you are drinking 120 ounces like your wife. Your wife's doing good. She's drinking the right amount. The second thing is you got to get some movement going in your body. But most people, Rich, they get all excited and they go to the gym and they do some crazy cardio or they try to, run on a treadmill. No, don't do anything like that. Just start with a simple walk. Just get your body moving and walk for an hour. And you say, oh, John, I don't have an hour. Listen, just put your headphones on, make your phone calls, listen to Rich's podcast, listen to some good music. Listen, everybody has an hour in your day. You could do it around your house, guys. Just walk around your house with your headphones on, again, just listening to a podcast. And then during that walk, about every 10 minutes, for 1 minute, get up on the balls of your feet, like a ballerina or like a boxer. Get up on the ball of your foot for 1 minute every 10 minutes, because when you get on the ball of your foot, you're engaging your calf muscle. Your calf muscle is your second and third heart of the human body. Rich, the human heart only pumps blood down. It only pumps blood down to your feet like a waterfall. Okay. But when you engage your second and third heart, your calf muscle, that pumps the blood back up, which is why it's called a circulatory system. But it's only a circulatory system if you engage your calf muscles and get that full circulation going in your body. And again, this is one of the keys to unlocking the cells to begin to open up and transform into that sponge. So think about it like walk for 9, get on the balls of your feet for 1. So it's like 9, 1, 9, 1. 9-1 to get your full circulatory system, working. And then the third strategy is the principle of, think about it like mini meals. Just spread your meals, all throughout the day. And this is kind of an interesting phenomenon. If you really would just eat when you're hungry, you'll notice you probably get hungry every 2 to 3 hours. But if you only eat enough to be fully satiated, to satisfy yourself, you'll be amazed like, wow, it really didn't take that much, for me to be full. Like if you just ate one, 6 to 8 ounce, hamburger, which is about 300 calories, you really would be full. And then about 2 or 3 hours later, when you feel hungry again, then you do it again. But when we do that, every time we just eat a smaller meal like that, the body turns on the whole digestive system. It's like firing up a big power plant and all the whole digestive system turns on and it starts cranking. And this is using the body, Rich, how God designed it. You use about 140 calories just turning on the digestive system. So now the digestive system just spent 140 calories just to turn on, and you only ate 300 or 400 calories. And so your body says, you know what, Rich, that's not quite enough. I'm going to go get a side order of fat to go with that. And so this is what I call food on the shelf, right? All fat is food we ate. We didn't need it. The body stores it on the shelf. So the body's really smart, so when you don't feed it quite enough, then it's kind of like the giant claw reaches in and grabs a big chunk of 300, 400, 500 calories of fat and metabolizes it. So you turn yourself into, if you do that 4 or 5 times a day, you're eating a big claw full of fat 4 or 5 times a day. And again, now you've got your circulation going. You got some water coming outside in, because you're drinking your water. You got your right movement. You got your circulation. Now you're spiking your metabolism where everything is moving and active. And again, all this creates cellular activity. So that's the first 3 steps, guys, that's what I call water, walk, nutrition. So start getting your water in, get a walk in with getting up on the balls of your feet every 10 minutes, get up there for a minute on the ball of your foot, and then just spread your meals out throughout the day. That's the first 3 steps everybody could implement. Super simple.
Okay. So walk,
get everything moving, utilize your second heart, your calves, all that stuff. What about the timing of the water drinking? Should it coincide with you moving, or should it be during rest periods where you're sitting, or just kind of all day long?
You know what? It's really, I recommend no more than 24 ounces per hour. So yeah, you cannot drink too much water. You can drink too much water at one time. If you drink too much at one time, you're going to flush your sodium. You're going to flush your salt out of your system, and you could get dizzy or lightheaded. Your electrolytes will be off balance. And so about 24 ounces per hour. And believe it or not, it's better not to drink your water with a meal. And so it's better to keep your stomach acids full and not diluted. So if you drink water while you're eating a meal, you're going to dilute your stomach acids. It's not going to break down and digest your food as well. So if you want to optimize digestion, you just want to sip. You just want to sip your water with a meal. Only sip it. Don't drink your main water, 20 minutes before or after a meal. That optimizes digestion and keeps that stomach acid doing what it's designed to do.
Well, otherwise, like you said, you're going to dilute your stomach acid, and then what happens to you?
Well, then you're going to feel that sluggish feeling, you're going to feel like you overate, even if you didn't overeat, because your body didn't have the acid to break down the food as efficiently as it's designed to do. But when you put that food into your stomach the way that it's designed, it'll just pull out all the nutrients, it'll expel the waste, and you'll feel, you'll feel energized. You won't feel that sluggish feeling people can get where they feel like they want to take a nap after they eat.
Okay. So how long will this protocol take until you can kind of feel some measurable difference?
Oh no, you'll feel a measurable difference in 14 days. No, and listen, we have clients that lose 10 to 15 pounds in the first 2 weeks of fat.
Wow.
And remember, we FedEx all of our clients a device. So thankfully the device is not $11,000 anymore because technology's improved. So we FedEx everyone a device. And so Rich, none of our clients lose 1 drop of water or 1 ounce of muscle. They only lose fat. And we have clients, the average client will lose 5 to 15 pounds of fat in the first 14 days.
Wow, that's a lot. That's crazy.
It is crazy. If you've ever seen one of those 5-pound fat blobs, it's bigger than a loaf of bread. And imagine you're going to lose 1 to 3 of those in the first 2 weeks. But that's just what happens when you're optimizing at the cellular level and getting your body set. You're basically resetting it back to how it was when you were a child, where you just metabolized everything you ate.
That's amazing. Does it work differently for men and women or older people? What have you noticed?
Well, no, the only difference is, look, men, ladies, don't be a hater. Don't be a hater, girls. Yes, the men lose the weight twice as fast. The men lose it twice as fast in most cases. Now, not in all. Now, we have women, I'll tell you this, for the 88 days, the average male or female is 38 pounds of fat. Remember, not weight. You're not losing 1 ounce of muscle, 1 drop of water. Our average client for 29 years loses 38 pounds of fat in 88 days. Now, by the way, that's about double what any GLP can do for anybody. So if you're doing a GLP and Energized Health, I don't even know what that number would be. But I do know the average GLP-1 is about, 20 to 25 pounds in 3 months. We're 38 pounds of fat. Now, remember, though, with the GLP-1, you're losing muscle and hydration. 30 to 40% of your weight loss is muscle and hydration. So you're losing about 18 pounds of fat on a GLP-1. You're losing 38 pounds of fat with Energized Health. And again, that's a 29-year track record. And this is a fully medically approved health protocol, by the way. You can even use care credit, like at your doctor's office, if you decided to buy the protocol. Yeah, it's fully medically approved.
Okay. So are there any contraindications for anyone to do this? Are they, if they're in a bad state or, meaning bad state of health, they're weakened, they're, something like that?
Yeah. So I'll just share quickly with you my experiences. The first 11 years, Rich, that I was helping people, and people would come to me and say, John, could you help me with Lyme disease, Crohn's disease, rheumatoid arthritis, whatever they said. Rich, for 11 years, I had one answer, which was, I don't know, let's see. But after 11 years, Rich, I changed my answer to, you could fill in the blank. Everyone that's listening in the sound of my voice, voice right now, if you asked us, John, can Energized Health help me with fill in the blank, whatever it is? The answer is yes. And again, you could go look on our website, click on testimonials. There's a drop down and you pick the category and click on it. And you could see there's tens of thousands of testimonials of people with every disease you could name, high blood pressure, diabetes, Lyme's disease, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome, autoimmune disorders, Hashimoto, whatever, they reverse. So this really, when you get healthy at the cellular level, you are healthy and it's hard to make a healthy cell sick, Rich. Whatever they have, they can reverse it. They really can. And that's one of our guarantees, by the way. So we guarantee everybody 4 things. They'll gain their hydration, they'll gain lean muscle, they'll lose their fat, and they will improve or reverse any disease they have. That's our 4 promises.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Well, very good. So what's the best starting point for listeners that are interested? Where should they go first?
Yeah, well, the best thing to do, and I'll just encourage that, listen, just book a call because it's free. And these people you're talking to, our coaches are coaches. Some of them are 20 and 30-year nurses. Rich, after they did this, they quit nursing. They said, wow, this really makes people healthy. Yeah, like our doctors, that have done, they became our client. And these doctors, point their finger in my face and say, John, you cracked the code. Like you cracked the code. You're going to the root cause of illness and disease. No wonder everybody's reversing everything because you're taking inflammation out of a human body with this breakthrough science that you have. And so all of our coaches, guys, they'll just share with you their own miracle story. They could share thousands of other stories of people that, they've seen, over the 29 years we've been helping people. So just book a free breakthrough call. And there's no salespeople. So no one's going to sell you because we don't even have any salespeople, at our company. All we have is people that have had life-changing experiences and have helped thousands of other people have the same experience. So we're here to help people. We're here to solve a problem, Rich, and a lot of us have health problems. A lot of us have weight problems, and we're here to help people solve their problem. So they can just go to Energized Health and just book a call, and you'll have somebody talk to you with no pressure, no sales, and see if we can help you solve your problem.
Okay, that's excellent. All right, very good. Well, John, thanks so much for coming on the podcast and just being direct and upfront about what you've been working on,
Yeah. Well, and Rich, I don't know if I said the website, but it's Energized, Energized, energizedhealth.com. And just kind of another fun fact I like to share with people is, you can go check guys on Better Business Bureau, go check on Trustpilot, look at real reviews of thousands, tens of thousands of real people. And you'll see nothing but 5-star and A+ reviews of people that said, man, this sounded too good to be true, but it changed my life. And that's the joy of our life, Rich, is getting to, we get to solve health and weight problems for people every day. And that's what gives us joy and fulfillment.
No, that's really great. That's excellent. Okay. Well, very good, John. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Well, Rich, great being here. And thank you for shining your light out there and doing what you do, brother.
Appreciate it.
If you like this podcast, please click the link in the description to subscribe and review us on iTunes.
Thank you for listening to the Good Question Podcast. Please email support@thegoodquestionpodcast.com if you have any referrals to great guests for us to interview. Visit thegoodquestionpodcast.com to hear more interviews. And please help us spread the word by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to this podcast.